you're going to get this one done?
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know he can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that at this level. That's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one. And I'm not going to just be standing there to let him hit me back. You know what I mean? So be using me range, keeping him on the outside, and I've got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out.
So the reason I'm going submission here for Paddy, 48% of his wins are by submission. He's got 11 total. That's pretty impressive. Now, granted, the opposition he's fought nowhere close to who Gaethje's fought, but still, that's impressive. It's 11 total. Gaethje does have 68% takedown defense, but he still can be taken down. And when you've got a guy like Paddy, whose ground game looks like it's improving bit by bit, he's actually going out there and finishing guys. Like he did finish Chandler via TKO, but he submitted Bobby Green, almost submitted Tony Ferguson. The ground game's on point, submitted Jordan Leavitt, Vargas, all these guys. So we know the ground game's pretty good here. Paddy's 7 years younger, but he's been far more active over the last 2 years. I think that's something worth noting.
I'm really worried that Justin Gaethje has good enough takedown defense and way more clean, accurate shots than Michael Chandler to make Paddy Pimblett pay. Defend the grappling, piece him up with the jab. If he gets in close, bomber uppercut, that could be the shot that hurts him. I feel like if he wins, it will be like a round 2 or 3 knockout, but Pimblett doesn't go out cold. I think it'll be like a TKO, like he drops Paddy Pimblett and Paddy Pimblett's kind of like complaining about it, but it was kind of a good stoppage. That's what I think it is. So
Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje has people talking for all kinds of reasons. Some think it turns into a wild fight that suits Paddy. Others aren't so sure. One thing everyone agrees on is that this won't be calm. It's going to get messy, and someone will have to deal with that chaos better than the other.
And he's the dark horse. Obviously, Paddy and Justin are fighting for the interim title. That's an interesting fight because Justin, better boxer, better wrestling, never uses the wrestling. Even if he did use the wrestling, you wouldn't really want to take Paddy Pimblett down. Paddy's a lot younger, a lot less miles on the clock, a lot less wear and tear. I'm kind of early leaning towards Paddy Pimblett in that fight. But who's the undisputed champ at the end of 2026? If he doesn't, I don't know, move on to boxing like he says he's going to. Hold on, this is the thing.
Paddy spoke about Justin as if he were someone he once respected but no longer did. He said he used to watch Justin fight before he was even in the UFC, but that part is done now. Once they're locked in, he's not thinking about names or legacies. In his head, Justin is just the guy standing in the way of what he wants, and that's how he treats him.
Is there any surrealness to it? Like you're actually fighting this guy that you probably, I would imagine, was watching before you even got into the UFC. This is fucking Justin, the highlight reel. Gaethje over here. Like.
Lad, I can remember watching him fight Nick Newell, lad, the fellow with one arm before he was even in the UFC. You know what I mean? I can remember my teammate, who's now my coach, Adam Vensey, telling me, oh, you need to watch this Justin Gaethje, lad, he's unbelievable. And I watched him and was like, oh my God, he's sick. So when he had his debut against Michael Johnson, I can remember watching that live, just thinking, wow, this fella can bang. But, you know, that's the position that you get into in this sport, lad. You've got to end up fighting your heroes or you're in the wrong game.
Yeah, you've been in this position before against Tony Ferguson. When you're in the cage, it's completely locked in. But is there a moment where you're thinking, like, fucking hell, this is Tony Ferguson, lad? Is there any,
You think that before it, like, but when you're in the cage, that's it. I'm just looking at him thinking, you're trying to stop my dreams. You're trying to take food out of my kids' mouths, so I'm going to iron you out.
He also went into why he feels good about this matchup. Paddy said that when his team watched Justin's fights, they kept noticing how often Justin gets hit clean. He feels Justin is used to taking shots just to give one back, and he doesn't think that works against someone who moves and picks shots. He made it clear he's not planning to stand there and trade for no reason.
You're going to get this one done.
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know he can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that at this level. That's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one. And I'm not going to just be standing there to let him hit me back. You know what I mean? So be using me range, keeping him on the outside, and I've got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out.
Paddy talked about camp and why that's boosted his confidence. He's been training with people who are built like Justin and fight similarly. He also said he's been doing well against strikers who are faster and cleaner. When wrestling came up, Paddy kept talking with the same confidence as he had during the entire interview. He said that if he wants to take Justin down, he will. He sees the fight turning once Justin gets hurt, with him landing on top and finishing it from there.
You know, I've been doing a lot of rounds with Luke Riley for this camp, and Luke's got much better technical striking than Justin Gaethje, and I'm having a lot of success sparring with Luke. And obviously one of my coaches, Ellis, who used to fight himself, he's the exact same build as Justin. He's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, and I've been doing rounds with him. He's literally, because he doesn't fight anymore, lad, and he's just a coach, he's just done Justin's style for me. He hasn't got his own style. He's been doing Justin for me, and just the bits what we're working, I can see me knocking him out or dropping him and then submitting him. People are going on about his takedown defense, but if I want to take him down, I will take him down, lad. Simple as. But I can see myself dropping him, ending up on top and either TKOing him or submitting him or TKOing him a ground and pound.
Bisping leaned toward Paddy mainly because of timing and wear. He looked at Justin as the more proven fighter, but felt the damage and long fights are starting to matter now. He pointed out that Paddy is younger, fresher, and hasn't been through the same kind of brutal fights. He also saw the grappling as a big risk for Justin, since taking Paddy down could quickly flip the fight the wrong way.
And he's the dark horse. Obviously Paddy and Justin are fighting for the interim title. That's an interesting fight because Justin, better boxer, better wrestling, never uses the wrestling. Even if he did use the wrestling, you wouldn't really want to take Paddy Pimblett down. Paddy's a lot younger, a lot less miles on the clock, a lot less wear and tear. I'm kind of early leaning towards Paddy Pimblett in that fight, but who's the undisputed champ at the end of 2026? If he doesn't, I don't know, move on to boxing like he says he's going to. Hold on, this is the thing.
James Lynch leaned toward Paddy mainly because of age, activity, and where both guys are right now. He kept coming back to the gap between them, with Paddy being much younger and fighting more often, while Justin had slowed down and taken long breaks. To him, that matters a lot in a 5-round fight, especially when one guy has been through years of hard fights and the other hasn't.
Let's do a quick tale of the tape between these two. Justin Gaethje, 26-5. Paddy Pimblett, 23-3. 37 years old to 31, so big age gap here. 5'11 to 5'10, 70 to 73. So Paddy Pimblett going to be younger. Also will have a 3-inch reach advantage in this matchup. But let's start first with the highlight. Justin Gaethje. Have a look at this matchup. I did mention it there. It is 5 rounds for the interim title. He is 26-5. He's got 19 knockouts, 2 submissions, and 4 decisions. Currently ranked number 4 in the lightweight division. He'll have a 1-inch height advantage in this fight, but that's about it. He's also a former UFC interim lightweight champion. I believe he'll be the first fighter in UFC history to win 2 interim titles if he does win here.
He also didn't dismiss Justin's power, but he didn't treat it like a guarantee either. He clearly saw the danger early for Paddy, especially if Justin lands clean, but he pointed out that Justin hasn't been knocking everyone out lately. In his view, the idea that Justin just walks in and ends it is overplayed, and Paddy surviving those early rounds is very realistic.
Where, you know, again, I talked about ways can win. Part of me thinks Gaethje could go out there and knock out Paddy Pimblett. He could do it, right? Like, he's got knockout power. He's got some of the best knockout power in the division. And again, it is concerning with Paddy Pimblett having just a 42% striking defense here. That's not good. Guy like Gaethje connects. That's not going to be very good for you there. So that's certainly a way that Gaethje can win this fight. But with that said, Justin Gaethje's last knockout win was the Tony Ferguson. No, sorry. It was the Dustin Poirier fight. That was a couple years back. So he's only got 1 knockout win in his last, how many fights is it here? His last 1, 2, I think one knockout win in his last 7 fights, if my math's correct here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry. 1 knockout win in his last 6 fights.
Where Lynch really sided with Paddy was on the ground. He spent time explaining that even though Justin's takedown defense looks solid on paper, he can still be taken down. And once that happens, things change fast. Paddy's record shows he finishes fights there, and Lynch saw that as the clearest path once Justin starts to slow down from pressure and pace.
So, the reason I'm going submission here for Paddy, 48% of his wins are by submission. He's got 11 total. That's pretty impressive. Now, granted, the opposition he's fought nowhere close to who Gaethje's fought, but still, that's impressive. It's 11 total. Gaethje does have 68% takedown defense, but he still can be taken down. And when you've got a guy like Paddy, whose ground game looks like it's improving bit by bit, he's actually going out there and finishing guys. Like he did finish Chandler via TKO, but he submitted Bobby Green, almost submitted Tony Ferguson. The ground game's on point, submitted Jordan Levitt, Vargas, all these guys. So we know the ground game's pretty good here. Paddy's 7 years younger, but he's been far more active over the last 2 years. I think that's something worth noting.
Bedtime MMA broke it down by saying Paddy isn't a clean wrestler who shoots perfect takedowns. Most of his success comes from chaos, throwing kicks, and forcing messy scrambles. Against Justin, that's risky because Justin's takedown defense is good enough to shut down sloppy shots and keep the fight standing.
But to me, it's really important to just look at these two stylistically. Paddy Pimblett is not a wrestler, bro. Like, Paddy Pimblett is not a wrestler. Justin Gaethje's a better striker. He has good takedown defense, and he has great power. That is my theory here, right? Because when you look at the way that these guys fight, Paddy Pimblett fights a lot behind kicks, dude. He's throwing oblique kicks, calf kicks, head kicks, body kicks, jumping, kind of, switching up in the air, throwing those kicks. He has improved his boxing. That was a big weakness in the Jared Gordon fight.
He also pushed back on the idea that Justin is still reckless. He explained that Justin isn't just swinging wild anymore. He uses feints, moves his feet well, and makes guys miss. That's important here because Paddy still gets hit clean too often, and those shots start to add up over time.
I don't think that's true, dude. He's actually changed his style so much, and his stats are kind of misleading. Like, if you look at his significant strike numbers, dude, it's kind of like Max Holloway. Like, you can't statistically prove that Max Holloway's defense has improved or whatever it is, or that he's more technical, but you can see it when you rewatch his recent fights. Justin Gaethje's the same, dude. Like, his defense used to be fucking abysmal. He would just walk through you, but now he actually has shown improvements in his defense. He was making Dustin Poirier miss a lot in their fight, really frustrated him with his footwork, with his head movement. Had some good moments against Max Holloway, dropped him for the first time. He's sharpened up his technique. He has a really nice jab. Like I said, his defense is a very underrated part of his game. He has good footwork. He feints. He mixes things up between the body and the head. I think that'll work well against Paddy Pimblett, who's super focused on, I need to have my hands up, I need to do this, or his hands are down really low. They're both open, depending on the feints and the setups that you use.
When it came to how the fight ended, his prediction became pretty clear. He thinks that Paddy's best chance is early chaos, hurting Justin, and jumping on a quick submission. If that doesn't happen, he sees the fight staying on the feet. From there, he believes Justin slowly wears Paddy down and possibly stops him in the middle rounds, which is why he leaned toward Justin by TKO.
I'm really worried that Justin Gaethje has good enough takedown defense and way more clean, accurate shots than Michael Chandler to make Paddy Pimblett pay. Defend the grappling, piece him up with the jab. If he gets in close, bomber uppercut, that could be the shot that hurts him. I feel like if he wins, it will be like a round 2 or 3 knockout, but Pimblett doesn't go out cold. I think it'll be like a TKO, like he drops Paddy Pimblett, and Paddy Pimblett's kind of like complaining about it, but it was kind of a good stoppage. That's what I think it is. So
Uriah Faber leaned toward Justin because he felt this fight fit Justin's style better. He sees it turning into a hard, fast fight where both guys are right in front of each other, and that's where Justin is most comfortable. He also brought up Justin's wrestling, saying it helps him decide where the fight happens and keeps Paddy from using his grappling as much. He didn't ignore Paddy's danger on the ground, but he felt Justin's pace and control could take that away. In his view, it comes down to who sets the rhythm first. Faber seemed to trust Justin's experience in tough fights and believe that control and pressure are what give him the edge here.
And with January coming up and the new Paramount deal, that main event of UFC 324, it's going to be headlined by Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. Who do you favor in that fight?
Man, I gotta go with Gaethje. I feel like he's the one that is more like enjoys like a knockdown drag out more than the other guy. Not that Paddy Pimblett doesn't love to fight. It's just Gaethje loves to like actually get down and throw fist for fist. And he's also got the Division I wrestling to kind of negate some of the biggest skill sets of Paddy. Paddy's like a very dominant grappler when it comes to submissions and being, aggressive with that. I think Gaethje has the tools to keep it where he wants it, and I think that's going to give him an edge.
Artem Lobov said he's picked against Paddy before and it cost him, but he still sees the same issues showing up. He keeps noticing moments where Paddy slows down and leaves openings, and that's dangerous against someone like Justin, who keeps pushing the whole time. The main thing Artem pointed to was defense. He said Paddy's chin is still high, and he gives guys chances to land clean shots. That chaos can work when opponents hesitate or fade, but Justin doesn't do either. Artem made it clear that enjoying Paddy's wild style isn't the same as trusting it against a sharp striker. He also talked about how Justin has changed over the years. Artem said Justin isn't stuck on just standing and brawling anymore. Even if he doesn't plan to wrestle much, the threat is there, and that helps him control where the fight goes. For Artem, keeping it on the feet is the key, and he believes Justin now has more ways to make sure that happens. Jorge Masvidal leaned strongly toward Justin because of experience more than anything else. He talked about how Justin has already been through the toughest fights, heavy pressure, and real chaos at the top level. To him, Justin knows what it feels like when a fight gets ugly, while Paddy is still learning that. Jorge felt that the gap matters once things stop going smoothly. He also made it clear this wasn't about hype or personality. What stood out to him was how Justin reacts when things go wrong. He said Justin doesn't panic even when he gets hit or pulled into messy moments. From his view, unless Paddy can take control early, Justin's pressure and pace will slowly take over the fight. With both fighters bringing different strengths and strategies, this fight is shaping up to be fast, intense, and possibly end before the final bell. Fans can expect high-level striking, movement, and moments of pure action. Let us know in the comments who you're backing. Are you going with Justin's raw power and experience, or Paddy's sharp skills and clever fight plan?